You're welcome back to Daybreak, and of course, it's time for us to get into the conversation proper. And this morning, we'll be talking about Hajj. Of course, on the 7th of April, 2023, the National Hajj Commission of Nigeria came up with the fares for the 2023 Hajj. And now, the National Hajj Commission also said that they have threatened, rather, to sanction any erring state pilgrims welfare board that charge their intending pilgrims before what they have stipulated on the 7th of April 2023. So the Hajj body declared that the total Hajj fare remained one that was announced, and it's, according to NACON, it said it was below 3 million naira. So the Hajj Commission of Nigeria is here. We have the National Hajj Commission of Nigeria. We have the acting chairman in the studio with us this morning to discuss the fares and everything that has to do with the Hajj in 2023 as people are preparing to go for Hajj this year. So the acting chairman, National Hajj Commission, Alhaji Abdullahi Magaji, is here in the studio. Thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, of course.
Now, we have all of these fares. It has been announced, of course, and we saw that it's different this time around because people have to pay by region, and this is not just peculiar to Nigeria. Of course, we've seen that other countries, because of what's happening in the world, inflation and all of that, Hajj fares have gone up. But why do we have all of these different fares, and people have to pay according to region? And we can see that the changes are just very slight, or the differences in prices are very slightly in changes. How did you come up with this?
Well, Alhamdulillah, yes, we announced the Hajj fair for 2023 Hajj exercise in Nigeria. And it came out in different variation. The basis for the variation are just two measures. One is because of the relative proximity of the states to the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia where we perform Hajj in terms of distance. Then the second aspect or the second reason or basis for the differentials is the quality of services selected by the states for their pilgrims. For instance, some states, they have chosen accommodation fairly close to the Haram, very strategic, and therefore very expensive. And that has to be reflected on the cost of services to be paid by the pilgrims. And the second issue about this distance, Yola and Maiduguri, for instance, they are departure centers. We have airports from where pilgrims depart to Saudi Arabia. These two stations are fairly closer to Saudi Arabia than states like Sokoto, for example. Then the rest of the northern states are also fairly closer when compared to states like Lagos, for instance. So we have differentiated them based on distance and quality of services to be enjoyed by the pilgrims. These are the reasons why there are differences in the fares to be paid by the intended pilgrims from one state to another.
All right, now how goes the preparations generally when it comes to the preparations for airlift? We talked about carriers, and they are going to be used preparations there for the stay of the pilgrims in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. But generally, how goes the preparations for this year's Hajj?
Yes, preparation for this 2023 Hajj started much earlier this year. In fact, we started from the very time we concluded 2022 Hajj from Saudi Arabia by visiting some of the major stakeholders in that country to determine or to inquire about plans they have in place for the 2023 Hajj exercises. Most of the major stakeholders, we visited them, we interacted with them. We got relevant information from them, which we never had when we were planning for 2022 Hajj. We never had it because we worked against time that time. Time constraint was our major constraint. Usually, we prepare Hajj all year round. For that 2022, we were not fortunate. We were just coming out of COVID pandemic palaver. And Saudi Arabia did not give us the indication that they would allow international pilgrims, everything to come to normalcy. They did not inform us until when it was barely some weeks to the commencement of the airlift. So we really worked very hard to achieve what we achieved. Some of the countries taking pilgrims to Saudi Arabia could not make it. In Nigeria, alhamdulillah, we were able to make it. Not only to make it, we did very well in the sense that we were able to evacuate more than 97% of our intended pilgrims. Very commendable. Some countries did not do it. Some they allow only to our operating companies or travel agencies to do it, not the government agencies per se, because of the time constraint. Saudi Arabia did not come out to inform the world that they would allow international pilgrims for the Hajj. So time constraint was the major factor all over. This year around, we felt that we should start immediately. We started from Saudi Arabia after the 2022 Hajj. Then we came back to Nigeria. In Nigeria, we did so many things. As of now, alhamdulillah, we did very well in that respect as well. We were able to attract potential carriers, airlines, which is major. If you get your airlift arrangement right, chances are high everything would be on course. If you fail to make it right, it means you are jeopardizing all the other aspects of the operation. So airlift operation is very major, very important to us. So we concentrated, we paid a lot of attention to it. Alhamdulillah, we are able to attract quite a number of airlines, prospective carriers, much more than we had during the 2022 Hajj exercise. So many came and they are credible enough, they were screened, and eventually we're able now to have 7 different carriers for the 2023 Hajj exercise. 5 of them are dedicated to states, pilgrims registered by the states agencies, while 2 airlines are dedicated for tour operating companies. So we have a total of 7 airlines lined up for the exercise, and we are quite confident that inshallah there shall not be any hitch in terms of airlift exercise.
All right. Well, talking about airlines for the airlift of pilgrims for the 2023 Hajj, we have now joining us from Saudi Arabia the head of operations of Max Air, one of the approved airlines, and that is Mr. Raymond Omohegbele, and he's joining us right now via Zoom. Good morning and welcome to Daybreak.
Good morning. Thank you for having me on the program.
All right. So we've just heard from the acting chairman of the National Hajj Commission of the preparations that have made when it comes to selection of airlines and of course that. On your own end, what are the preparations that you have made so far to ensure that we have a hitch-free airlift of pilgrims? Because that is one of the places where we have major issues when it comes to Hajj operations. That is the airlift of pilgrims to and from the kingdom.
It's one of the reasons that I'm here in Saudi Arabia to prepare for the elite, to get all the necessary permits and the slot for the Hajj exercise. And by the grace of God, Master, we have finished our own part of the arrangement.
Okay. The preparations you're talking about, you just talked about we finished making preparations for this, and we are still to have the number of people who will be going for Hajj at this point. Don't you think it's too early for you to conclude that preparations are done at this moment, since we have a deadline of 21st of April?
As a matter of fact, all the other countries have all finished the arrangement exercise, with the exception of Nigeria. And we're giving the 11th of April as the deadline to make all the necessary arrangement for the Hajj exercise. And that is what we comply with. I came on that early morning of the 11th, met with the Civil Aviation Authority to negotiate our slots for the Hajj exercise. And we have completed that.
All right. So, last year we had issues with the Hajj exercise, and you actually touched on it earlier when you talked about having a little time to actually prepare and make certain arrangements for these things to happen. But even at that, there was a little bit of friction between the Hajj Commission and, of course, state welfare boards of pilgrims welfare boards of individual states. Now, have you taken steps to be able to make sure that there's a seamless operation across all agencies involved?
Yes, of course. When we came back from Saudi Arabia at the end of the 2022 Hajj exercise, the first thing we did was to sit down in-house to look at what had happened, determine where we had challenges, and plan to avoid such hitches against 2023 Hajj exercise. We did the post-mortem exercise internally. Later on, we invited relevant stakeholders. We still put heads together to review what we did in-house to come up with salient issues that hindered smooth operation against 2022. So that such hitches could be avoided against 2023 Hajj exercise. So at the end of the review discussions we had with the relevant stakeholders, we identified, yes, time constraint was major. Then lack of synergy between the commission and the state to some extent hindered the operation as well. So if we identify the problems and we want to forge ahead against 2023, we had to really address the issues identified. So we came with the states, we sat down, we reviewed, they ventilated their problems. We also made them to understand our own positions. So at the end, we accepted to work as a team for the interest of Nigerian pilgrims, for the image of Nigeria as a nation. So much so that at the end, we are now working together as a unified team without any kind of dissenting positions. So there is total synergy between the Hajj Commission and the various states as of now. And we do not envisage what had happened last year to happen this year. I agree with you, we are all human beings. There may be some differences in views and approaches and all this. But Alhamdulillah, we have committed ourselves to work as a team for the interest of Nigeria as a nation.
Okay, we'll always go back to last year because of, the constant bickering we saw online and all of that, and, the resultant effect that happened after that. Now, getting into this year now, those people who were, aggrieved at some point to get into Hajj the other time, is there any package for them or anything to make them happy, or like a discount or something? Just to...
You mean the pilgrims who were disappointed?
Yes, disappointed.
Yes, one of the things we decided together with the states was first and foremost to apologize to those unfortunate Nigerians who could not be helped. We apologized to them, we took responsibility. Even though it wasn't deliberate, so many factors gave rise to that situation. We had to apologize to them. Secondly, we offered to refund all their monies 100% as they paid, without any deduction, even though some commitments and expenses must have been incurred in their favor. But all the same, the Hajj Commission accepted to bear such losses. So any intending pilgrim against 2022 Hajj who wanted his money refunded, he would be expected to be refunded 100%. So we remitted back to the states all the paid Hajj Commission 100%. We requested them to also in turn refund same to interested individual intending pilgrims. Those who are desirous of taking their money, they would take it 100% as they paid. All right? Those who would want to leave their money against 2023 Hajj, they are encouraged to do so. So that was the situation. And then this time around, when we allocated slots to the states, we took into consideration the number of pilgrims who were not able to make it last year. So we added, or we made provision for them over and above what the state was entitled to have as slots allocation. So they were taken into consideration.
So I know that the Hajj fare last year is lesser than this year. So they have to, pay more money to add up to make the 2.9 million naira. It depends on where they are coming from anyway.
Well, I would want you first to understand that the National Hajj Commission, at least this particular board, the current board of the commission, on assumption of office, we committed ourselves to make sure that we work towards achieving as much as possible lesser cost of Hajj in Nigeria. We are committed to that. But escalation in the cost of Hajj is a global phenomenon. The cost of living all over the world keeps on rising. It's not restricted to Nigerian situation or Saudi Arabia. Is a global phenomenon. It's all over the world. So we are mindful of that. We work very well to ensure that we keep the quantum of money to be paid by the Nigerian pilgrims for the 2023 Hajj within reasonable limits. And Alhamdulillah, we did very well in that respect. So the pilgrims who were unable to make it last year, not by their own faults, we refunded their money and they collected it back. And therefore the money had been with them. Those who are traders would use it for their own trades, probably make something out of it. Those who left their money behind, they were encouraged to put their money in Hajj savings scheme, which is an arrangement meant to assist Nigerians who could not be able to cough up the quantum of money required at a particular period in time. So they would be allowed to gradually pool their resources and make it at the time they would want to make the Hajj. So they were encouraged to put their money under this scheme. And the Hajj Commission introduced this to allow Nigerians, every Nigerian Muslim now would be able to aspire to perform Hajj in his lifetime by gradually saving money for that. So when you put your money under the scheme, the money is not idle. It will be invested in halal or Sharia compliant investment opportunities where profit could be made. And the pilgrim stands to benefit significantly from that investment. So when they put the money, they make a lot of profits. The profit will now reduce the pains of coughing up more money to make up for the 2023 Hajj exercise. So that was the reason why we encourage them to put their money under the Hajj savings scheme.
All right, so Raymond, let me come to you now. The acting chairman just talked about the relationship, that's the synergy now between the Hajj Commission and, of course, state welfare boards. How can you describe your own relationship now with the Hajj Commission and, of course, the authorities there in Saudi Arabia? How would you describe the level of synergy that you have there that will ensure the smooth conduct of this year's Hajj exercise?
Well, we have all been part of all the arrangements made so far. We participated in the stakeholders and we are in agreement with the arrangement made by the National Hajj Commission to ensure a smooth Hajj operations. Like the acting chairman said, a lot of arrangements have been in place. You did ask me last time, it wasn't too early for us to start. As a matter of fact, I think we are a little bit behind schedule if we are to get the necessary slots. The slot is very important in the sense that you get the right time to come in and the right time to leave. And we are believing God that this year, the exercise will be smoother than last year because we started early, like he did said in his last statement, that we started early. So for us, there have been a robust relationship between us and National Hajj Commission. We are like a family for so many years now.
All right, so Mr. Raymond Omokhwebiale, thank you very much for coming on the show and, of course, giving us those insights as regards to the operation of Max Air when it comes to the 2023 Hajj. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, sir. My name is Raymond Omotiagbe. Omotiagbe.
Okay, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for
That's
that.
taken. And now we're
Thank
coming
you.
to the studio now. How many programs are we expecting to perform the 2023 Hajj from Nigeria?
Well, before the advent of COVID-19, Nigeria used to get allocation of slots to the tune of 95,000. For 2 consecutive Hajj sessions, there was no participation from Nigeria. That was 2020 and 2021 Hajj was conducted without international pilgrims. So Nigeria did not participate. Then 2022 was the first after the era of COVID-19. And the Saudis tested the ground. They didn't want to go whole hog at once. So they gave modest number of slots to all countries, including Nigeria. In Nigeria, they gave us 43,008 Hajj slots. And Alhamdulillah, so many number of Nigerians were able to make it. This time around, they restored the full allocation they have been given Nigeria, which is 95,000. 75,000 for pilgrims under the state agencies, including Hajj Commission officials. Then 20,000 dedicated to pilgrims under the travel agencies that are registered with the Hajj Commission of Nigeria. So we, in totality, we're expected to have a maximum of 95,000 intended pilgrims. And this 75,000 was given out to the states as allocation based on their previous performances and records. And we are expecting, because there have been backlogs, even though there is a difference in terms of fares, what it used to be and what it is today, we expect quite a number of intended pilgrims to be registered. And because knowing the actual figures of the intended pilgrims is paramount to very effective planning purposes, we set a deadline for the states within which to conclude all the registrations and remit the funds remittable to the Commission latest by the 21st of this month. And that would tell us the exact number of Nigerians intending to travel to Saudi Arabia for the Hajj. And that is very key. Previously, we have been used to, particularly among the elites, they would announce the intention of going for Hajj. They would not signify the intention until when the airlift starts, then they would come asking for Hajj tickets and all this. Usually, the operation used to be very shabby in the sense that no effective planning. For instance, if you say state ABC are to be airlifted by company so airline, the airline wouldn't know what kind of aircraft to deploy for the operation because they don't know the number of the pilgrims. They don't know how many slots they will go to apply landing permits and slots from Saudi Arabia. They wouldn't know how much to deposit for their service providers, such as fuel suppliers, caterers, and all this, because they don't know the actual number of pilgrims they are expecting to airlift. But so this time around, we have given them deadline to the states. Close all registration and remit everything remittable to the Hajj Commission latest by the 21st of April this year. That would now inform us clearly these are the actual number of intended pilgrims. And therefore, the airlines and all other relevant stakeholders can now effectively plan their operations against 2023 without, with less confidence. Now they will confidently plan. And the plan is likely to be more effective and efficient.
All right. Well, we do hope to have a seamless Hajj exercise this year, and we actually look forward to that.
Thank you.
All right, sir. Haji Abdullahi Mukaji, thank you very much for coming on the show. And of course, we appreciate your time and, of course, these insights concerning the 2023 Hajj.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming.
All right, that's how we're going to wrap it up on Trust TV's Daybreak this morning. We had a wonderful time being here and, of course, giving you all these necessary insights into all these issues this morning. And we'll hope we can be able to do this again tomorrow. I am Ibrahim Yusuf.
And it's been a wonderful time on Daybreak this morning. My name is Martia Umar. We'll see you again.